1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com. Paul Harding on the phone. Martin Harding Mazzotti. Hey, Paul.
Hey, good morning, guys.
So the story is this. New York pet stores may soon be required to carry only rescue animals. Lawmakers recently introduced a bill. I think they passed this. This went into effect January 1, I think, in California. You want to enlighten us a bit, Paul?
Ban the sale of for-profit pets.
Yeah, so California and Maryland have since passed this, and it looks like New York is potentially on its way. And what it says is basically this: the classic pet store where you kind of walk by and you say, wow, look at, and you get motivated that day to buy that pet. And then you get home and say, uh-oh, did I make the right decision? Soon might be over. Like, literally, they're saying no more pet stores. They're going to allow some of that space to be for rescue animals. So sort of an end of an era if it happens.
So you eliminate puppy mills, and I've seen this work. And like, for instance, I hate to keep talking about it, but where we got our dog on one of the Virgin Islands, there's so many animals that are shipped over to the mainland because puppies are in demand.
Yep.
And they have them there, and they need to be rescued.
Yeah.
My question is, like, you're going to force people out of business? Can the government do that?
So now you've got this industry, and I tried to look up the numbers this morning. It was in the hundreds of millions. I couldn't get a clear number, but yeah. So you've got several leaders in the country that have these businesses, and through legislation they could be wiped out. Answer is, yeah, they can. They can say that there are reasons for the public good to limit this. But one thing that hasn't happened yet, the governor has not signed this into law. It hasn't gotten there. The bill is just being proposed, and there's just about $800 million in tax revenue. So we're not talking about a small amount that the state would lose out on. So possibly, we may not see this pass this year.
Yeah,
we may
I paid
not see
$4,000 for my dog. There's some tax on the end of that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's big money.
Right, and you would still, you wouldn't pay I don't think you'd pay $4,000. You would still purchase your animals, the rescue animals.
Right, but
would
the
be a
tax
fee.
the tax wouldn't be as much. Yeah.
Right.
So
But
listen, we all you got to do is look around. There's too many dogs and cats in this world.
Well, aside from the being nice and kind to creatures, what about the eventually won't we lose the breeds and they all just kind of like turn into the Wall-E movie you talk about?
Right. No. So what they're not excluding is breeders. So you can still buy a purebred. You can buy a puppy. And you see them at the airport or something. They get flown in from Wyoming, and then people are waiting for their animal, and so that's still going to exist. What they're talking about, what they've really focused on, is what they call the puppy mills. Now it's kind of a buzzword that they use because that they're just producing. But I mean, the difference between that and the breeders is an argument, right? Certain breeders are super responsible. Certain other breeders probably are less so.
Honestly,
so
I've never met a really responsible breeder.
I was going to say, I bet breeders who are doing it right welcome this law.
It
eliminates some puppy mill competition, but
and get the bad guys out of the business.
But that news, Paul, that breeders are still going to be allowed to do their thing is wonderful news to Quinn's blue blood over there, so he can tune in every year with his family and watch the Westminster Dog Show. Hello, darling.
I mean, come on. I get doing it with people, but dogs? Come on. Oh,
I don't know. I don't know if you want to give an opinion, Paul, but I like this. I like this potential law.
It is the right thing to do. What I do is wrong. What I do by going and paying a ridiculous amount when there are little creatures out there that could use a good home. It's just wrong, and I know it. But half the house has one of those, and the other half is an entitled little pain in my ass.
I tend to keep the opinions to myself, but in this case, I've probably just seen too much, watched too much. What does happen in these, what they call these puppy mills, but as they're producing these animals. So, yeah, I support it. But by the same token, I want to be fair we've got to make sure that these rescue missions are regulated also. I think they could use a little regulation. Some of the ones that we know in the area are fine, but some of the ones that kind of spring up in sometimes the rural areas aren't a whole lot better.
I will say this.
I guess
the purebred that we have is completely psychotic, doesn't listen to me, doesn't do anything, would eat until she dies. I mean, completely out of control, and the other one's the smartest thing I've ever met.
The mutt is the right
from
exactly.
Kentucky or something.
Here's the silver lining. Maybe we'll get that commercial with the Sarah McLachlan song taken off the TV.
Please.
It's so depressing.
Upside. Absolutely.
I can't see that anymore.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks so much, Paul.
Okay, guys.
It's Paul Harding from Martin Harding Mazzotti. 1-800-LAW-1010, 1-800-LAW-1010.com.